was.
I had my own rule.
Which was?
Like 5 years either way.
But you dated somebody that was more than 5 years.
I did. And look how that turned out.
Right.
And that's exactly it. So,
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit, like, how did it turn out exactly?
She was quite a bit younger. She wasn't established. She had small children, and she was in college, and, you know, she was just at a different level. She was living the single life, able to do pretty much whatever she wanted, and here I was. I had a family, a husband, and we had family living with us at the time, and we had a full life. And we were expecting to be able to have somebody come in. Not only that, but she was also new to polyamory. And the younger you get, the more apt you are to have that kind of situation happen, I think.
Right.
Because they aren't as apt to have the experience. And that's pretty normal.
But
and there were a lot of things that we talked about and discussed that she had never heard of before.
Which was kind of funny, but that all goes to, she wasn't that much younger than us. Maybe 10 years?
I don't even think.
It was 8.
I don't think it was 10.
I think it was like 8 years younger than us. But again, she was at a different level than what we were.
Of maturity.
Of maturity.
And I think that's the key, is mature.
What level of maturity do you have with a possible partner or a current partner? And that's kind of how, we rate it. Jay's talking about 8 years between her and one of her exes, or actually our ex. Scarlett is 8 years younger than me. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we mesh on a very same maturity level.
That's the thing, though, is the reason why in the before times the rule was
Ex acted like she was 8.
Well, not going into that, but the reason why it was it was a moving rule. So it was 6 years older than our oldest child. So the older we all got, the older the person had to be.
Yeah.
Because 8 years different when you're 25 is very significant.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's almost not legal.
But if you're 40 and they're 8 years different from you, it's really not that big a deal. They're in that same band of experience.
Yeah, they've had a lot of life experiences at that point.
They've had their heart broken a few times. They've probably, by the time you get to 30, you have probably had some kind of surgery.
In other words, you've been through some shit.
Yeah, you've seen some shit by then. You're seasoned.
Yeah, there you go. A little bit of Tony's, a little cayenne pepper. Oh, no, not that quite.
Possibly a little gray in the hair.
Why are you looking at me when you say gray in the hair?
I happen to be facing forward anyway.
I feel like I'm being called out on this.
I think gray hair is sexy. I always have. So,
do you also think my tractor is sexy?
No.
Thank God.
But there's a pull toward May-December relationships because young people can make you feel alive.
May-December?
May-December, yeah. What did I say?
You said May-December.
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh, May-December relationships are somebody's in the spring of their life and somebody is toward the winter of their life.
Oh, so talking about maturity levels, I did not know that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, me either.
It's a porn category. Did I mention gray hair is sexy? So, anyway.
So, we have other things to discuss. We'll be right back after this short message.
Okay, so if you...
Putting your foot in your mouth, that's where you work.
Damn. There's some fixation on May-December relationships because young people make you feel alive. And for a younger person, an older person might make them feel more stable.
Or attractive.
Or, yeah, like, it's just so these kind of relationships, if they're fulfilling needs in people, they can work. It's just that there comes a lot of pitfalls that I think a lot of people, when they're jumping into these things, don't really think about because they're thinking about those needs that are about to be momentarily fulfilled. So it comes to, hey, this one is cute. I feel young. I feel alive. I feel fulfilled on this level.
But that 5 mile hike or that 5 mile run, I'm a little out of breath.
Until the young person wants to drink all night.
Or party all day.
Or has a lackadaisical approach to their work or their future because they haven't reached that point where they felt urgency on it.
That's very true.
By the same token, yes, the older person is stable, but that's stable. They are going to be less fun. And when you are young and you can feel your youth running out on you, you can start to feel like, I haven't done all the things I wanted to do yet, and now we're watching Jeopardy again.
But Jeopardy is interesting at times.
Oh, I love Jeopardy. But that's because I'm the age that I'm at. No.
I just like trivia.
Yeah. So these things, the people are all individuals, and they're all going to do what they're going to do, and they're all at the level they're at.
I think it comes down to what works for you, as long as everybody's consenting and it's legal.
Right.
There was one interesting concept that I came across a few years ago, and it's something that's can be applicable to a polyamorous dynamic. It was from someone I know, prospective boyfriend that I was thinking about.
Was this a Mr. Lane guy?
Mm-hmm. And he had a wife, and he wanted someone 10 years younger than her, someone 10 years younger than the girlfriend, and someone 10 years younger than her.
Jesus El Savior.
Because he wanted to have a generation of families that he knew his family would be taken care of. If he were ever to pass, that there would be, like, his draw and his pull for wanting me was that I was 10 years younger than his current wife, and that I was also married, and we were interested in becoming...
But you were also 10 years older than his sub.
Yes. So I fit in between that age gap. And so his sub had a daughter. His wife and he had a couple of kids, and they were grown. I found that kind of interesting.
It's interesting, but I have a feeling that there was like ulterior motives to that. That just seems like a surface level thing. It's like, I'm going to entice you with this, but that's not my goal.
Well, he didn't start off with saying, "Oh, I think I was 35 at the time. You're 35. This is perfect. You're the perfect age. Let's see if you actually fit." It was more like, "Oh, okay, that's your age. Wow, that works out, because this is kind of what I was planning on doing." And so I thought it was interesting, because we all want our families to kind of be taken care of. And if you aren't in the best of health, you're going to start planning ahead for things in the future. Yeah. So he wanted to make sure that his polycule and his family were all going to be self-sufficient and able to be taken care of.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. So, but from his wife's age to his youngest partner, it would have been... What?
That's 20
10,
years.
20, there would have been a 20-year gap.
So, yeah, and it's interesting. Right away, Zan, you pointed out that it felt kind of like sophistry, a little bit of surface kind of thing to you. But to me, it at least addressed one of the more important issues right off, and that is, if you are on the December end of a May-December relationship, you need to plan for the future, because they're probably going to outlive you.
Right, and some people talk about inheritance when they die. Or, they're like, hey, when my grandpa dies, I'm going to get blah, blah, blah. Or when my parents die, I'm going to get like a ton of money. You know what I get?
Oh, God.
Bills. Yeah. You know what my kids are going to get? Bills.
Well, it's very expensive.
It is expensive.
So, but that's the thing is, in relationship dynamics, especially if you're in a polycule that is tight, or you're nesting, or any kind of thing like that, you want to make sure that you have the bases covered, as in you want to make sure that life insurance beneficiaries are established and people know who is who. The people in the polycule know what to expect if and when decisions have to be made. Having frank conversations of, yeah, if this ever happens, it's time to pull the plug, is serious and will kill the mood if especially you had this particular May version of your relationship for a fun time. You still have to have that uncomfortable talk, and it will be as uncomfortable as you make it.
Well, you also got to think that, hey, guess what? We're going to talk about wheels. I know you're looking at going out to a club, but we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about wheels right now.
And that goes back to the maturity of the person, the compatibility of the relationship itself.
And how serious they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because if you're just in it for a short time, or the novelty of it, then you're definitely not looking into the longevity of discussing wills or future plans, or how this is going to happen, or how you're going to take care of all the dirty details.
And that all comes back to, what is your polycule for? Is your polycule for just fun times? Is your polycule for nesting? Is it for...
Well, not your polycule per se, but each of your relationships.
Within
right.
within the
that's
cule.
true. Okay, yeah. Thank you for correcting me on that one. But when it comes down to it, it's like, what is your relationship there for?
Right.
Me, I don't plan on having just like a fling.
Right.
At all. That's just not me. I don't do those. And that's not what relationships to me are.
Yeah.
It's for a long-term goal. So if your, relationship for whatever partner you have, say like, for Jay, he was kind of planning a really long term, but at the same time, he was putting people in boxes as to, hey, this is where I want you in this status, in this part of the relationship and part of this polycule. So that's kind of like how you got to kind of judge it.
Yeah.
Hey, if you and your partner just want somebody younger that has this full life
Are
and
older.
Right. And everybody's consenting, everybody is cool with it, do you?
Right.
That's kind of how we say it.
There are those relationships that I kind of look at sideways just because and I'm not here to judge anybody because honestly, there's a certain age limit, and I'm not even sure where that limit is for me really, but they're just not attractive to me past past that younger than this, and they've stopped looking like a peer to me and started looking like a child.
Yes.
And I don't want to judge people who see past that age is just a number, all of those things. And I totally, do you, be you, do you, fulfill
Legally.
you, legally. But I do look a little sideways at the people who literally wait.
Yeah.
Because they already found this person.
And
they wait for their birthday.
Yeah, and it's like, that's a little creepy. That's a little creepy.
It's one of those, it's not really wrong per se, it just does make your toes curl a little bit. Which to me, that you really need to dig deep on this and kind of morally ask yourself, if you pick them out before they were of age, it means you found that attraction before they were of age.
Right.
And I'm not calling anyone out, and I'm not pointing any fingers, and I'm not saying that you're a bad person. I'm just saying, ask yourself how you got there. If you're literally waiting for a birthday just to start dating this person, it's one of those things you really need to examine yourself. Talk to your therapist, which I hope you have. Not just for that. I think most people could benefit from therapy, and I think definitely people in a polycule could definitely use a connected, networked therapist session, like therapist team.
Team.
That sounds
that's
terrible.
a good way. No. That kind of fits, a therapy team.
Well, hey, if you're a team of family, you kind of need a team of therapists.
Right.
And chances are, if you were in a polycule, you've gone through some shit.
Yeah, more than likely.
Just because you're getting not only your experiences and a partner's experiences and your own family thing, and shit happens to every family over time.
If you listen to this polycule, you'll know that.
You're doubling down on that by adding more people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Experiencing things through them.
Right alongside with them. And those of us that are nesting polyamorous folk, we want that. We want to go through this with you. We want to have this family.
It's part of what we've got in this to begin with, to experience the highs and lows of each other's life.
Right.
And that's kind of what we did.
So in the case of you're waiting for somebody to become legal, there was a situation in a high school that I attended. You
attended a boarding school.
This is one of them, yeah. So the thing was, and this happened after I left, but I heard from the other alumni that this had happened. There was a student that graduated and was immediately engaged with one of the teachers. So it's, how long were they, quote unquote, here's my air quotes next to the microphone, dating without actually dating before then?
Right.
Which meant that this grown adult man who was old enough to be a teacher, which isn't that old, but it's still, there was a gap there. And he saw her and met her and started getting to know her while she was still a minor. It's one of those things that, again, they didn't do anything illegal as far as I'm aware, but yikes.
Yeah.
Oh, this coffee's getting better and better as I taste it.
That's the thing, is extreme temperatures dull your ability to taste. So as it cools down, you actually get more flavor out of it.
I guess it all comes back to not only, I mean, again, we're going to say this, legal, but maturity level and what you're looking for.